Hey guys, it's Kristen and welcome back. This is what I read in October. So October got off to kind of a slow start, and I've noticed this is kind of becoming a pattern for me where as soon as a new month kind of chimes in and brings all its refreshing newness, I just kind of lose steam and I don't read as much in the beginning of the month as I do at the end of the month. And that's totally fine. It can't be all reading all the time. That being said, in October, I managed to read 6 books. The first thing I read is Persona 4 Volume 1, and this is based off of the Persona 4 video game. I was obsessed with this game when I discovered it a few years ago. I bought my husband, or boyfriend at the time, a PS Vita because we were taking a trip to Europe and I just thought it would be cool for him to have like entertainment for, the time that we spent traveling. It's a lot of downtime to do nothing. It never really was his. I just told him it was because I spent most of the time using it to play this video game. And Persona 4 is kind of like, it follows this kid who moves to a small town from the big city and weird stuff starts happening around the town. And like he gets pulled into a TV. You gotta like experience it for yourself to really appreciate it, I think. And it was actually my first time reading a manga. I actually had to ask my husband the correct way to read it. One of the things that I really liked about it are these like little character inserts from the author and game maker to just to give us more of like an in-depth view of the characters. I don't think I've rated it officially on Goodreads yet, but it's a 4-star read. I do intend to read the subsequent volumes. The next book that I read in October is A Court of Mist and Fury. This is the second book in the ACOTAR series. And I mean, it's a reread for me. I read these at the beginning of the year and I still loved it. It's still a good story. And keeping on with the rereads for this month, I reread Eclipse, which is the 3rd book in the Twilight Saga by Stephanie Meyer. I don't have a lot to say about it. It was okay. I mean, I'm enjoying rereading Twilight, but I can't say that it's something that I will reread again. I don't love it and I don't hate it. It does hold kind of that nostalgia for me, but I could take it or leave it, whatever. And the next book that I read in October is Stormfront by Jim Butcher. This is book 1 of the Dresden Files. This book follows Harry Dresden, who is a wizard private eye, and he is working with the police or whatever to solve a murder. But he faces some complications. So I first heard about Stormfront from Joe at Joe's Review Journal, and the way that he explained it and talked about it put it on my radar. I put it on my TBR, and that was like months ago. Like when I first started my channel, I think that was 8 months ago, and I just finally bit the bullet and put it on my TBR in October, and I got to it, and it was amazing. It does have its faults. It's not like totally riveting of a story, but I love Harry Dresden. He is probably one of my new favorite characters, and I tend to kind of stay away from series that are longer than, I don't know, what's the long, like the Harry Potter, like 7 books, 4 books, if I'm being honest. Like I think anything over 4 books is just way too much of a commitment. But there's like 16 books in the series, 17, 16, I don't know, whatever. And I think this is one that I'm actually gonna try and commit to and read on. Very much enjoyed it. The next book I read in October was Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and this was for the Top Shelf Society book club. So Mexican Gothic is about Noemi, who is sent to check on her cousin's well-being after she becomes kind of ill and acting odd and writing odd letters to Noemi's father. And so Noemi goes out there to check on her, and you know, there's weird stuff happening in that house. Yeah, I enjoyed this book. I really did. I gave it a 4 stars, 4-ish stars, maybe like just under 4 stars. It was weird. It was a little bit weird, but I still enjoyed it. And the last book I read last month was Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. This follows Wade, or Parzival, in like a dystopian future scenario where everyone lives their lives online through virtual reality, and the creator of this great invention called the Oasis passes away and makes a game out of his death and who will inherit essentially his empire. I loved this book. I loved it. It was my favorite read of October. I actually picked it up kind of on a whim. I was in a Discord talking to a few people, and somebody mentioned that this was one of their favorite books, and they specifically mentioned that it was their favorite audiobook. And so I looked it up in my library, and it was readily available, which rarely happens for things that I want to read. And so I borrowed it and I got to it, and it was just such a good time. Will Wheaton is such a good narrator, and I'm really interested in seeing where Cline takes Ready Player Two, just because I feel like the ending, it ended perfectly. Like, what else could happen, you know? My hopes for Ready Player Two is that it's actually good and not just a money grab of a book, because that hurts my heart when sequels aren't good, and especially when they're just done for the money. But I can't hate on someone trying to get paid either, so whatever. That's it for me for today. If you have read any of these books, definitely let me know what you thought of them, or if you plan to read them, or just drop a wine glass emoji and let's have a virtual drink in the comments. If you like this video, I would love if you considered liking and subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.